In this episode of Fixing Bugs and Stuff,
we are visiting Deno's garage.
Hey Dave, so here we've got the Holley Sniper system. It's the 1100 model, which is modeled after the Autolite 1100 carburetor, which is a carburetor that would have been found on like Ford straight six-cylinder trucks and cars and things like that. This system was specifically designed for smaller single carburetor applications like the aforementioned Ford trucks, Chevy straight sixes, Dodge straight sixes, things like that. This system was sent to a guy named Eric Allred with Red E Motorsports out of Utah. And what he does is he redoes the entire system. He gives you a custom map that is oriented towards air-cooled. He gives you the custom billet base plate so that it's oriented correctly, otherwise it's sitting wrong and it's not the right size for the intake flange. He gives you the proper throttle cable, fuel hoses, the fuel pump, because the standard fuel pump will not work. Earlier Bosch fuel pump from like a late 70s fuel injector car won't work. It has to be a modern like 48, 50 something PSI fuel pump. That's included in the system. You also get, although we don't have it visible here, there is an O2 sensor. It's a General Motors type O2 sensor. You also get a engine coolant temperature sensor, which mounts right there. Although we're obviously not checking the engine coolant because it's air-cooled, we're getting ambient air temperature from right behind the heads. This doesn't need to be completely accurate. It just needs to be a reference. The computer will work around it. This setup comes pretty much complete. We use an air cleaner we've gotten from like AutoZone or something like that. It works really well up there. It's very simple. This is a 1776 cc engine we just had rebuilt. It's pretty much a stock engine other than the upgraded displacement. It's got a Pat Downs Shockwave electronic ignition system. This is a centrifugal style. We install these on pretty much all the motors that come out of Deno's garage. I know you've started using them a little bit, haven't you, Dave?
Yep.
This is very similar to the CB Performance MagnaSpark. In fact, it was designed by the same guy. He just started his own company. The big difference is these are 40,000 volts instead of 30,000 volts, and they're black instead of a gray cap.
And they work great, too.
They work amazing. You don't have to, everybody asks, it's not vacuum advanced. It doesn't need it. These you install them on anything, 34.3s, 30-pick 1s, the Sniper systems, dual carburetors, whatever. You put it on, you time it, and just let her rip. You can lock it out if you have a turbo application. It comes with tons of extra springs and things. I don't know about you, but I've never had to.
Nope, you don't have to.
You just put them in, they run the way they are. They're like $200, give or take a couple bucks, and they come with everything. Wires, coil, bracket, you name it, it's got it with it. It's a very reasonably priced system for what you get. This is a dual port engine. This is a 65 Karmann. So originally it would have been single port. We've upgraded it to a dual port system. One thing to note with the Sniper system is you absolutely must have functioning heat riser tubes. This is a throttle body injection, so it's basically a electronically controlled carburetor by configuration. So it is still susceptible to carburetor icing, just like a standard carburetor, or it's susceptible to intake icing, just like a standard carburetor. So it's absolutely important that those are in place, cleared out, and functioning properly. It will not work right without that. You'll just go chasing your tail. This is the Holley Sniper system screen. This gives you all the various parameters, RPM, temperature, air-fuel ratio, things of that nature. It also gives you an interface to load different fuel maps on it for adjustability. There's an SD card right there that comes out. If you're not going to use a dyno tuner, you can pull that SD card out. Holley does make software that you can do some adjustability yourself, or you can work with the various guys out there on the web that do remote tuning. You basically log what's going on with the engine, send it to them. They look at it, find the spots where it's unhappy, adjust the fuel map, send it back, and hopefully it runs well. I personally recommend dyno tuning. It's the most effective way. Can it be done without dyno tuning? Absolutely. But our current dyno tuner takes about 2.5 hours, and he has these cars running absolutely perfectly. So highly recommend dyno tuning. You had asked earlier, do you mount this inside? Yeah, you can. It does come with a lot of cord. Some people like it mounted on the dash. Some people just want it wrapped up under the back seat so it's available. You don't actually have, once the car is tuned, you don't actually have to have this in the car. You could just leave it unplugged. In fact, when we dyno tune it, this is completely unplugged. We have a cord that goes here that's a USB port that goes into the laptop. This isn't the USB end, but the other end is. This is all running through a EFI stainless steel, what we like to call a hot dog style muffler. And the O2 sensor is welded to the number 3 exhaust manifold. Although it's more ideal to have it at a collector running off of all of the exhaust manifolds, it's not necessary. We found that as long as the engine is running good, you're firing well on all 4 cylinders, you can run just fine off of that number 3. You're getting about the same data as that you would be getting off of the others. Big notes about this installation. It's really good to have like a smoke machine where you can just test to make sure that you have no vacuum leaks. These will not work well with vacuum leaks. The other thing we found is the simpler the exhaust system, the better. Exhaust leaks, particularly with the O2 sensor, are a big problem. You don't want any extra air getting sucked in through holes in the exhaust because they will interfere with the oxygen sensors, data parameters, or data signal. We've tried installing like a really aggressive slip fit style. It was like a Python style Sidewinder exhaust system. We did not have good luck with that with this system because unless you're willing to weld everything up, the slip fit does allow a little air in. When you're running carburetors, doesn't matter as much. But this is a very sensitive system. So we found either stuff like this hot dog style system or the basic merged headers sold by EFI and various companies. In fact, we just did a car with a completely stock exhaust where we just had the O2 sensor mounted right behind one of the exhaust tips, and it sounded just like a stock car, and it ran just fine. And as far as losing power, that car gained about... it was right around 7 to 8 horsepower on the dyno, even though everything else was a completely stock configuration.